Butterflies return someday.
There was a woman they called Foxy. Not because she chose it, because the world didn't yet have the language for a woman who refused to shrink. So they reached for what they knew. Fine, fly, bad, a brick house, because that was a song. Dangerous, sometimes too much, they say. They named her the only way they knew how. It's how they name women, through her body. Because they did not yet know how to name a woman who carried power without asking permission. But she was never just beauty, she was resistance dressed in beauty. She entered rooms the way truth does. Unannounced, unapologetic, undeniable. And that unsettled people. Because she stood as a living contradiction to everything they had been taught a woman like her could not be. She was radiant without submission, visible without anybody's permission, and whole even when the world expected her to be broken. And still, Miss Foxy fought, not by becoming hard, not by becoming small. She fought while remaining fully herself. And for a while, people loved that. But just to be clear about that kind of love that they offered, they loved what they could consume. They loved what they could imitate. They loved what made them feel something. But they did not love what challenged them. They studied her walk, copied her style, borrowed her energy. Yes. But her truth, well, that made them uncomfortable. People don't like to be uncomfortable. So they split her in two. The image they celebrated, the reality they resisted. And that's an old pattern. Take a woman, admire her, benefit from her presence. But the moment she speaks plainly about harm, question her, turn on her, put her on the witness stand, ask her to soften it, ask her why now, ask her to carry it, but please do it quietly. Because truth from a woman disrupts more than illusion. It disrupts control. And behind the image they applauded, she was surviving things that had nothing to do with performance. Violence that should never have touched a child. Silence forced onto a girl who deserved protection. Men who saw her light and saw access. Systems that saw her brilliance and immediately sought to contain it. So let's speak a little truth. Beauty does not protect women. It often exposes who feels entitled to them. And still, she kept herself. Even when standing beside power, legends. Because look, she was a legend too. Even when the world called it love. Something they wanted, they thought. Even when survival required her to see very clearly what others refuse to even name. Because sometimes what is called love is simply That's just proximity to power. And we're calling it goals. And women are taught to endure it quietly. But she did something many are punished for. She left. She chose herself over the role, her life over the performance, her peace over their expectations. And when she returned, she did not return smaller. She returned clearer and clarity. Clarity, clarity, clarity. Clarity unsettles people even more than beauty. Because clarity cannot be molded. It cannot be convinced to forget. It cannot be persuaded to protect comfort over the truth. So, when she spoke fully, honestly, no decorations, no accessories, they turned on her. They turned on the truth because she told the truth without asking permission to do so. They wanted the fantasy back. Not this witness. Not this living witness. Foxy is a living witness, and they didn't want that. They wanted the person back on them posters. The person on the wall that does the poster doesn't speak from the wall. The poster doesn't say a thing. She smiles. They wanted that back. They wanted her strength as long as it was entertaining. Not when it held a mirror to what they would rather ignore. You see, this is not new. Women have always been celebrated for surviving and punished for explaining what they had to survive, who they had to survive. But here's what they couldn't take from Foxy. She already knew herself. She already knew. And a woman who knows herself cannot be undone by a crowd that only knew her image, the poster on the wall that never got to speak, that smiled at you when you walked in the room. That's okay. She did not lose anything when they turned away. When you said, I don't like her anymore. I don't like her now. She didn't lose anything from that. They lost access to what? Her silence. You lost access to her silence. She stopped performing survival a while ago. She's been living for a long time now. And that is the shift that frightens systems built on women enduring quietly. Because when a woman chooses herself, she interrupts the expectation that she will absorb harm to keep everything else intact, that she'll be your shock absorber. Protecting yourself is not destruction. Naming harm is not chaos. And leaving what endangers you, well, that's not failure. That's preservation. That's clarity. That's continuation of life. That's survival. And every time a woman says, I don't have to break just to be believed. I don't have to shrink to be safe. And I don't have to perform pain to prove it was real. Well, she's doing more than surviving. She's correcting the lie. The world may celebrate your image, but your life depends on your truth. Your living depends on your truth. And the truth does not need applause to remain true. So if you're tired, if the noise feels heavy, if the pressure to soften what you see is pressing in, I hope these words help. You're not wrong for noticing. You're not wrong for naming. You're not wrong for protecting yourself and those who come after you, whether they come through you or not. Clarity is not cruelty. It is care. And you don't need permission to see manipulation. You don't need permission to draw boundaries or to protect life. And doing all of this doesn't harm humanity, like they say. I know. It doesn't harm humanity. This is the only way that humanity survives. Thank you. Thanks to Pam Grier. Before I go, honor, respect, gratitude, appreciation to Pam Grier for her courage. Thank you so much. We look up to you. We look up to you. We look up to you. We honor you and we love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Pam Grier. You guys be great. Thanks for listening. This is Tanya G.J. Prince. Thanks for listening. Y'all be great.